Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring, well, some really interesting ideas about personal energy alignment and also the power of appreciation. You know, when I first heard that we're going to be doing an entire deep dive on just one source, I have to admit, I was pretty skeptical. Like, is there even enough to talk about?
Right.
But I've been going through it, and it really does go deep.
Absolutely.
It's like they've, tapped into some kind of universal truth about the way energy shapes our reality.
They start with this idea that we all have a unique vibrational frequency.
Okay.
Which acts like a magnet for experiences.
Oh, okay. So that's where that...
You've probably heard the phrase like attracts. That's basically what we're talking about here. Yep. But it goes so much deeper than the typical self-help jargon.
Right.
They actually use this very clear analogy of a satellite dish.
Oh.
They say that when our energy, our metaphorical dish, is aligned with our true selves, which they call our vortex, then we become powerful receivers of positive experiences.
So we're talking about...
like a perfectly positioned dish receiving a crystal clear signal.
Like if my dish is aligned.
Exactly.
Then I'm getting all the good stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so what happens when it's not aligned?
That's where we start attracting the negative experiences.
Wow.
When we're out of alignment with our true selves, it's like our dish is pointed in the wrong direction.
Okay.
It's picking up static and interference.
So it's all about getting that dish pointed in the right direction.
Exactly.
Finding that alignment.
See, how do we do that?
Well, they talk a lot about the power of appreciation.
Okay.
Appreciation is key. And they have this great line. They say, you cannot be an appreciator without being appreciated.
Wow.
But they're not talking about some superficial gratitude, just saying thank you for things.
Right.
This goes deeper than that.
Well, so it's not about manipulating others into appreciating us. It's about shifting our own internal, frequency to one of appreciation.
Precisely.
Okay.
When we cultivate a genuine sense of appreciation, we raise our vibration and then naturally attract more things to appreciate.
So it's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense because, I think back on the times I've been feeling down or frustrated, and it does seem like when I focus on what I appreciate, that kind of lifts me out of it.
There's a neurological basis for that, actually.
Is there really?
Studies have shown that practicing gratitude increases levels of dopamine and serotonin.
Wow.
Which are the neurotransmitters associated with happiness.
So it's not just like a feel-good practice. It's actually like rewiring our brain.
For positivity.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. I'm curious, though, how do we differentiate between just feeling good and being truly aligned?
That's a great question.
With our vortex.
And they actually address that by talking about the importance of emotional guidance.
Okay.
Our emotions are like an internal compass.
Okay, so how do we read that compass?
Well...
what signals should we be looking for?
They explain that positive emotions like joy and love and peace, those are indicators that we are in alignment with our vortex.
Got it.
Negative emotions, on the other hand, those are signals that we're off track.
Okay, so it's not about denying those negative emotions or pushing them away.
No, not at all.
It's about using them as feedback.
Exactly.
To course correct.
Yes.
Okay.
When we experience negative emotions, we shouldn't resist them or try to force them away.
So don't push them down.
No.
Okay.
Explore them.
Explore them. What do you mean by that?
Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What belief or thought pattern is causing this feeling? And what needs to shift within me to move back into alignment?
That's so different from what I'm used to doing. I usually just try to distract myself from negative emotions or push them down, like we were saying.
Yeah.
But you're saying Abraham Hicks is suggesting we actually lean into those emotions and see what they can teach us.
Exactly. When we resist our emotions, we actually give them more power.
Oh, wow.
But when we face them with awareness and compassion, we can learn from them.
Okay.
And use them as fuel for growth.
So it's about becoming more emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
And recognizing that our emotions are valuable messengers, not enemies to be fought.
Precisely.
I like that a lot.
And as we develop that emotional intelligence, we become much more adept at navigating the ups and downs of life and making choices that are truly aligned with our true selves.
This is making me think about how I approach my relationships with others. It's so easy to get caught up in trying to control people or situations.
Oh, absolutely.
And it sounds like that's not the way to go.
You've hit on a crucial point.
Okay.
The source actually goes deep into this idea of influence versus control.
Okay.
Especially in the context of parenting.
Oh, I'm very interested to hear their take on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of parents, myself included, struggle with finding that balance.
They start by highlighting that control is ultimately an illusion.
Oh, okay.
We can't force anyone to change or behave in a way that contradicts their own inner being.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
It is.
Especially for parents who want the best for their children.
They acknowledge that, it's natural to want to protect and guide our loved ones.
Right.
But they emphasize that true influence comes from our own alignment.
Okay.
Not from trying to impose our will on others.
So less about controlling our children's actions and more about being a positive influence through our own energy and behavior. It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they take it a step further by suggesting that this focus on self-alignment, it's not selfish, but actually the most generous thing we can do.
Wait, selfish self-care? I've always struggled with that concept.
Yeah.
How can putting myself first be a good thing?
Right.
Especially when I have so many responsibilities to others.
They address that directly, saying that when we neglect our own well-being, we deplete our energy, and we actually become less capable of giving to others.
Oh, so it's
like trying to pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, like that airplane oxygen mask analogy.
Exactly.
Put on your own mask first before helping others.
And they emphasize that when we prioritize our own alignment and well-being, we become a source of strength and inspiration for those around us.
That is really making me rethink my whole approach to self-care. It's not just about bubble baths and massages. It's about taking responsibility for my own energy and well-being.
Yes.
So I can show up as my best self for others.
And they suggest that this kind of self-care, it's not about just pampering ourselves. It's about aligning with our vortex, our true selves.
So I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. Our vibration affects our experiences.
Yes.
Our emotions guide us towards alignment and aligning with our true selves.
Right.
Not only makes us happier, but also more capable of positively influencing others.
It's a powerful framework for understanding our own power and potential.
This deep dive is already blowing my mind.
I know, right?
I can't wait to hear more about their practical tips for cultivating a more positive vibration and aligning with our vortex.
That's exactly what we're going to be exploring in our next segment. But before we move on, I want to leave you with this thought. What limiting beliefs or habitual patterns might be holding you back from fully aligning with your true self?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's something to really ponder.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after a quick break to delve even deeper into these concepts.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back. I'm still processing all this information about personal energy and alignment. It's a lot to take in.
It is a paradigm shift.
It really is.
But in this section of the conversation, Abraham Hicks gets even more practical.
Okay, good.
They actually offer some tangible steps that we can take to consciously cultivate a more positive vibration.
Okay, so give me the actionable steps.
Right.
What can I start doing today to shift my energy?
They emphasize the importance of mindfulness, specifically in terms of our emotional state.
Right. So positive emotions indicate alignment.
Yes.
Negative ones suggest we need to course correct. But how do we actually do that?
They suggest starting with a simple question. What am I feeling right now?
Okay, so I check in with myself, identify the emotion.
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
Then you explore that emotion with curiosity, asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? What thoughts or beliefs are fueling this emotion?
So instead of judging myself for feeling a certain way, I'm trying to understand the root cause of that emotion.
This process of self-inquiry helps us to identify any limiting beliefs or negative thought patterns that might be holding us back from aligning with our vortex.
And once we've identified those limiting beliefs, how do we shift them?
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Abraham Hicks introduces a concept that they call pivoting.
Pivoting. Tell me more.
So they explain that when we find ourselves feeling negative emotions, we have a choice.
Okay.
We can either stay stuck in that negative spiral, or we can pivot towards a more positive thought or feeling.
So it's like consciously choosing to change the direction of our energy.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And they emphasize that even a small shift in our perspective can have a ripple effect on our overall vibration.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you're stuck in traffic.
The worst.
And you're starting to feel frustrated and impatient.
Definitely.
Instead of dwelling on the negative aspects of the situation, the wasted time, the annoying drivers.
All of that.
You could choose to pivot toward a more positive thought.
So instead of focusing on how much I hate being stuck in traffic,
right,
I could think about how grateful I am to have a car.
Exactly.
Or maybe I could use that time to listen to a podcast or call a friend.
Exactly. And that simple shift in focus can make a huge difference in your overall emotional state.
That reminds me of what we were talking about earlier about gratitude.
Yes.
Didn't they say that appreciation is a powerful tool for raising our vibration?
Absolutely. Appreciation isn't just a passive feeling, it's an active practice. Okay.
We need to make a conscious effort to find things to appreciate throughout the day.
Okay.
No matter how small they may seem.
So instead of focusing on what's wrong, I'm training my mind to look for what's right.
Precisely.
Okay.
They suggest creating a daily gratitude practice.
Okay.
Whether it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day, or just taking a few moments each evening to reflect on the good things that happened.
I've tried gratitude journaling before.
Yeah?
And I did find it really helpful. But I often struggle to maintain that consistency.
Consistency is key with any new habit.
Sure.
And Abraham Hicks actually suggests finding ways to make gratitude a natural part of your daily routine.
Okay. Do they have any tips for that?
They suggest integrating gratitude into activities you already do regularly.
Okay.
For example, you could express gratitude while you're showering or brushing your teeth or walking the dog.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like I'm turning those mundane tasks into opportunities for appreciation.
But what about those times when I'm feeling really down or discouraged? It feels almost impossible to find anything to be grateful for.
They acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That it can be challenging to cultivate gratitude when we're feeling low. However, they emphasize that it's precisely in those moments that gratitude is most potent.
Really? Why is that?
Because when we can find even a sliver of appreciation amidst negativity, we're actively shifting our vibration and interrupting that downward spiral.
Oh, okay.
It's like injecting a dose of positivity into a negative situation.
That's like a muscle.
Yes.
The more we practice it, the easier it gets.
Exactly, even when it's difficult. And they suggest starting small. Instead of trying to force yourself to feel overwhelming gratitude, just focus on finding one tiny thing to appreciate.
Like the fact that I have a roof over my head.
Yes.
Or that I can breathe easily.
Exactly.
That I have a warm cup of tea in my hands.
Precisely. Even those seemingly insignificant things can be powerful reminders of the good that exists in our lives.
I like that.
And as we practice this conscious appreciation, we start to shift our overall perspective, seeing the world through a more positive lens.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to dealing with challenges. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, I can choose to look for the good, the things to be grateful for, even in the midst of difficulty.
And that shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
It's like reclaiming our power to choose how we experience the world, regardless of external circumstances.
I love that. It's like we're taking back control of our own happiness.
They emphasize that happiness is not a destination. It's a vibration. It's not something we achieve or acquire. It's a state of being we cultivate through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions.
So it's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances to feel happy. It's about choosing to embody that vibration of happiness right now.
Precisely.
In this moment.
And we have the power to choose happiness at any moment, regardless of what's happening around us.
This is starting to sound a little bit like positive thinking.
Okay.
Is that what they're advocating?
Yeah.
Just slap on a happy face and pretend everything's fine?
Not exactly. They acknowledge that positive thinking can be helpful.
Okay.
But they emphasize that true alignment goes deeper than simply thinking positive thoughts.
So it's not about denying or suppressing negative emotions.
Right.
But about acknowledging them and choosing to focus on a more positive aspect of the situation.
It's about consciously directing our energy towards what feels good, what aligns with our vortex, our true selves.
This is making me think about my relationships with others.
Yeah.
How can I apply these principles of alignment and appreciation to my interactions with the people in my life?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that Abraham Hicks addresses directly.
Okay, good.
They emphasize the importance of recognizing that everyone, including ourselves, is on a journey of evolution.
Evolution, what do they mean by that?
They explain that we're all constantly learning, growing, and expanding our consciousness.
Okay.
And this journey is not always linear or smooth.
Right.
There will be times when we make mistakes, when we stumble, when we fall out of alignment.
So it's not about being perfect.
Right.
But about embracing that messy, imperfect process of growth.
Exactly. And they encourage us to extend that same compassion and understanding to others.
So instead of judging or criticizing others for their mistakes or shortcomings,
yes,
I try to see them through a lens of compassion and understanding, recognizing that they're doing the best they can with the awareness they have in this moment.
Precisely.
Wow. That's a big shift in perspective.
It is.
For me.
But it can create more harmonious and fulfilling relationships.
Okay.
Not only for them, but for us as well.
This is really challenging me to rethink my expectations of others. I often find myself getting frustrated when people don't meet my standards.
Right.
Or behave in a way that I deem appropriate.
Yeah.
But what if I shift my perspective and see them as fellow travelers on this journey of evolution?
Yes.
Doing the best they can with the awareness they have.
That's a powerful shift.
It is. This is all starting to make so much sense.
Good.
But I have to admit, it can feel a bit overwhelming at times.
I understand.
There's so much to be aware of.
It is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
And there will be times when we feel out of alignment.
Right.
When we stumble, when we forget these principles.
Yeah.
But the key is to keep coming back to that awareness of our vibration.
Okay.
And to make conscious choices that support our well-being.
So it's not about being perfect.
No.
But about progress.
Exactly. And being kind to ourselves along the way.
Mm-hmm.
We're all learning and growing.
Yeah.
And it's okay to make mistakes. The important thing is to keep moving forward, to keep seeking alignment, and to keep expanding our capacity for love, joy, and appreciation.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about and to put into practice.
Good.
I feel inspired to start paying more attention to my energy, to cultivate more appreciation, and to be more intentional about the vibration I'm putting out into the world.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
And remember, even small shifts in our energy can create ripple effects that extend far beyond ourselves.
So what's the one key takeaway you hope our listener will walk away with today?
That each of us has the power to create a more joyful, fulfilling, and aligned life. Starting with our own vibration.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring these concepts.
Yes.
And to observe how your own vibration impacts your life. Remember, you are a powerful creator.
Yes.
And the universe is responding to your every thought, emotion, and belief.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely.
And watch the magic unfold.
I love that. This deep dive has been like a masterclass in personal energy management.
It has been fascinating.
We've covered so much. Aligning with our vortex, understanding our emotional compass.
Yes.
Even practicing gratitude when things get tough.
It's amazing how Abraham Hicks brings all these concepts together into this cohesive framework.
Yeah, and in this last part of their conversation, they give us some really practical tools.
Yes, they do.
They're integrating these ideas into our daily lives. Okay, so let's talk about the practical stuff.
Okay.
How do we make all this actionable?
Well, they start by talking about the importance of setting clear intentions.
Okay.
They suggest starting each day by consciously aligning our energy with what we want to experience.
So it's like setting the tone for the day.
Exactly.
Like creating a roadmap for my energy to follow.
It's about consciously directing our energy towards what we want to create, rather than just reacting to whatever comes our way. They emphasize that the universe is always responding to our vibrational output. So it's crucial to be mindful of the signals we're sending.
That makes me think about those days when I wake up feeling grumpy.
Yeah.
Or stressed.
Yeah.
It's like I'm setting myself up for a bad day.
Exactly.
From the get-go.
They address that directly.
Okay.
Saying that if we find ourselves starting the day with that kind of negative momentum, it's important to take a moment to kind of recalibrate.
Okay, how do we do that?
One technique they suggest is what they call segment intending.
Segment intending? What is that?
It's essentially breaking our day down into smaller segments and setting intentions for each segment.
Okay.
So, for example, you might set an intention for your morning commute, for a meeting at work,
right,
for your interactions with your family.
Okay, so instead of trying to control the entire day,
right,
I'm focusing on setting a positive intention
exactly
for each activity.
It's about creating a more mindful and intentional flow throughout the day, rather than just being swept along by the current of events.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like I'm taking back control of my energy by consciously choosing how I want to experience each moment.
And they emphasize that these intentions don't have to be grand or elaborate.
Okay.
It can be as simple as setting an intention to remain calm during a stressful meeting.
Right.
Or to approach a challenging conversation with compassion.
It's almost like I'm creating little energetic shields to protect myself from negativity.
Precisely.
And keep my vibration high.
And as we practice segment intending, we start to notice a shift in our overall experience.
Okay.
We're less reactive to external events and more empowered to create the reality we desire.
I like that. It's like we're becoming conscious creators of our own lives.
And that creative power doesn't just apply to our internal state.
Right.
It extends to our external world as well.
So our energy not only affects how we feel, but it also influences our circumstances and the people around us.
Absolutely. Our vibration acts like a magnet.
Okay.
Attracting experiences and relationships that match our energetic frequency.
So if I'm vibrating at a frequency of joy and abundance, then I'm more likely to attract joyful and abundant experiences and relationships into my life.
Exactly.
And if I'm vibrating at a frequency of fear and scarcity, I'm more likely to attract experiences and relationships that reflect those energies.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, that's powerful.
It is.
But what about those times when I'm surrounded by negativity, either in my environment or from people around me?
Right.
How do I maintain my positive vibration when it feels like I'm being bombarded with negative energy?
That's a great question, and one that a lot of people struggle with. You know, we can't always control our external environment, but we always have control over our internal state.
So it's about focusing on what I can control. My own thoughts and feelings.
Exactly.
Rather than what I can't control, the actions or behaviors of others.
Precisely.
Okay.
They suggest that when we find ourselves surrounded by negativity, we can choose to detach from it energetically.
Detach. How do we do that? It's not like we can just physically remove ourselves from every negative situation or person.
Detachment doesn't necessarily mean physical separation. It's more about creating an energetic boundary, a protective shield that prevents negative energy from penetrating our field.
So it's like building an energetic force field around myself to deflect negativity.
Yes.
But how do I actually do that?
They offer several techniques.
Okay.
One technique is visualization.
Okay.
You can imagine yourself surrounded by a bubble of white light, a shield that repels negativity, and allows only positive energy to enter.
Yeah, I can picture that.
Yeah.
Like I have an invisible bodyguard protecting my energy.
Another technique is using affirmations.
Okay.
You can create a positive statement that reinforces your energetic sovereignty, such as, I am protected from negativity. Or, I choose to align with only positive energy.
So it's like we're consciously choosing to align with a higher vibration.
Yes.
Even when we're surrounded by negativity.
Exactly. And the more we practice these techniques, the stronger our energetic boundaries become.
So it all comes back to that vibration.
Yes.
Our vibration affects our experiences.
It does.
Our emotions guide us towards alignment. And aligning with our true selves makes us happier and allows us to positively influence others.
It does.
And we have these tools like intention setting and segment intending and energetic boundaries to help us manage our energy.
It's a journey, not a destination.
It is.
There will be times when we feel out of alignment, when we stumble, when we forget these principles. But the key is to just keep coming back to this awareness. Keep practicing.
Keep expanding our capacity for love, joy, and appreciation.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for navigating life with more intention and joy.
Wonderful. And remember, the most important takeaway is that you are a powerful creator.
Yeah. Right.
And the universe is responding to your every thought, emotion, and belief.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely.
And watch the magic unfold.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
Until next time, keep seeking alignment and keep vibrating high.